This video is sponsored by PCBWay. More about them in the video. Hey guys, welcome back to this channel. And today we are going to be starting a brand new mini series on the channel, I Am Iron Man. So for this series, I'm going to be building the Mark 46 Iron Man helmet from Captain America Civil War. And this is going to be a 3-episode long mini series. Over the course of the next 3 episodes, I'm going to be showing you guys how to properly post-process, sand, prime, and prep, how I did all of the base, paint, and clear finish for the helmet, and finally how to install and code the electronics to make this a fully functioning Iron Man helmet. So today for the first episode, we're going to be going over how I post-process this 3D printed helmet. I'll be showing you guys all of the materials that I used, the steps that I took, and techniques that I utilized to make this Iron Man helmet as smooth as possible and ready for paint. So without wasting any more time, let's jump into the video. So first things first, let me go ahead and show you guys where I got the STL files for this Iron Man helmet. So you're going to want to head over to Wireframe's website, which is a website where a bunch of independent creators have all combined and put all of their files onto one site. Click on the magnifying glass and type in MK46. Scroll all the way to the bottom and you will see the helmet right here. This was created by Levy 3D and is currently $30 USD. I also went ahead and linked this directly in the description. So usually at this part of the video, I go over how I orient and slice the files, what printers I use, what filament, and all that. But luckily for this particular project, I didn't have to do any of that with the help of today's sponsor, PCBWay. PCBWay specializes in fabrication, CNC, and 3D printing services. Their 3D printing services include PLA, SLA, nylon, and to my surprise, even titanium 3D printing. Their website makes it very simple. All you gotta do is upload or drag and drop your STL files into the box, choose a quantity for that specific part, select the material that you would like for them to 3D print your model in, then choose from a wide selection of different colors, and you can even input the amount of infill that you want on that specific print. Once you've inputted all that, all you have to do is hit request a quote, and if everything looks good, go ahead and place your order. Their website basically walks you through the entire process, and the 3D prints turn out great. The prints came out super clean with very minimal layer lines. There's no support debris or anything like that, and there's no hiccups on any part of the print. No shifting in layer lines. The details on the inside of the mask and helmet turned out phenomenal, and I could not have asked for a better 3D print. I would definitely recommend trying them out for yourself. Once again, thank you to PCBWay for sponsoring the video and supplying me with this Iron Man helmet. So now let's go ahead and get back to the video. So now with all that out of the way, let me go ahead and show you guys all of the materials that I'm going to be utilizing to prep this Iron Man helmet. So first up, we have a multi-pack of low grit sandpaper. Next, we have this wet or dry 800 and 1000 grit sandpaper. And since we're making this helmet extra perfect, we're gonna go ahead and use even higher grit sandpapers, from 2000 all the way up to 5000 grit sanding pads. If you want a really smooth surface, you can even try these micro sanding pads, which is basically like a 10,000 grit sandpaper. Needle files, which will help us sand in those hard to reach places. And to make it easier, I'm going to be using this palm sander, which will help a lot whenever you are sanding a big project. And all of these low grit sandpapers for the palm sander itself. And if you can't afford one of those, you can always get one of these handheld grips that will help hold onto the sandpaper. This 2-in-1 filler sandable primer from Rust-Oleum. This fills in all of the layer lines while also being easy to sand. And finally, Bondo glazing and spot putty, which will help fill in any imperfections on the helmet. So first things first, we gotta sand. Now, whenever I start a project like this, where I know that I'm gonna be prepping it and sanding it, bondoing it, and all that stuff for quite a while, I always like to give it a very good, clean first phase of sanding. Personally, I use anywhere between an 80 to 120 just to help really knock down those layer lines and get me a good base for the rest of this project. Now, this is the part that you're gonna wanna spend a lot of time on and use a lot of elbow grease. And fortunately, they have made things a lot easier with the help of things like the palm sander. So using the palm sander, just going around in a circular motion, you're just going to continue to sand the entire helmet, making sure to knock down all of those major layer lines and try to cut this thing down as much as you possibly can. The longer you take on these steps, the better the outcome is going to be for the helmet in the long run. Prep is most important when it comes to these projects, so taking your time, allowing the primers to dry, the Bondos to dry, properly washing it and sanding it allows for this Iron Man helmet to be the best looking that it can possibly get. Whenever you start painting this helmet, all of those imperfections are going to show, so you're going to want to make sure that you make this as perfect as you possibly can. After that, it's just a matter of moving up in the sandpapers. I went ahead and went to a 220 and then up to a 400 grit sandpaper. After that, I went ahead and washed the helmet. I do this in between basically every section. Before I apply any primers or Bondo, I like to wash the helmet and let it air dry, just to make sure that any specks of dust or anything like that are not in the way of the primer itself. So I just go ahead and use a sponge and Dawn dish soap and give it a good clean wash like you would washing a dish. Once that is done, I use this sandable, fillable primer, giving slow, thick layers so that way this filler primer can really fill in all those layer lines for you. And because it is sandable, it's super easy to knock this stuff out. So the more, the better kind of thing. It doesn't really matter. You don't have to be too careful with this stuff. Just get it, make sure you cover the entire print with it, because the more you can cover that plastic, the better the paint is going to hold. Paint really doesn't like to stick to smooth plastic, so giving it a nice grip will allow for that paint to stick a lot better. So once I left the print and allow the primer to cure for over 24 hours, I then went ahead and started sanding, and I usually jump up, starting with an 800 grit. Once again, after washing the print, yet again, I went ahead and applied the Bondo glazing and spot putty. This is going to help basically fill in any layer lines that you cannot knock down or fill in by sanding or with the primer. This is basically a wood filler, but it's for auto body type repairs for cars and stuff like that, which is perfect for this kind of project. After the Bondo has cured over the course of about 2 hours, I went ahead and dry sand it. You're not gonna wanna wet sand this stuff just because the Bondo will sort of reactivate and you don't want that to happen. So just give it a good dry sand. Make sure you really knock that stuff down, and it's gonna kind of look like this at the end, which is sort of questionable looking, but trust me, it'll work out in the end. Once again, wash it as much as you can and then hit it with another layer of primer. Now at this point, it's just a matter of wash, rinse, repeat, because every printed object and every project is going to be a little bit different from one another, and you're basically just going to want to repeat that last step over and over until you're completely satisfied with the way that the print looks. But once you've gotten it to a point where you're satisfied with the way that the primer is sitting, you don't see any layer lines, you don't see any imperfections, we can finally move on to the final phase of the sanding process. Now here, I like to use a high grit sandpaper, 2000 or more, and I actually use a little bit of Dawn dish soap, which will also help kind of keep that sandpaper clean and clear of debris, as they can start to gunk up pretty quick at this point. Going in a circular motion, just sanding the entire helmet, getting it as smooth as possible. And finally, the last thing that I did was I wet sanded it with a 5000 grit sanding pad. Now this is just a complete polish. It's almost gonna feel like you're just moving the water around or like you're just gliding a towel over the print, but it is getting out those final imperfections and a little bit of grittiness that you're going to want off of the print. So that way, whenever you apply the paint, it will be completely smooth and all of those imperfections will be completely gone. And this project is fully ready to be painted. Okay, so that is part 1 of the I Am Iron Man series. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. And like I said, in my next episode, I'm going to be showing you guys what base coat I use and what colors I use on top of what other colors, how to get a metallic finish, a brush steel look, stuff like that. So you're definitely going to want to tune in to see those techniques and how I make this Iron Man helmet. And also, I'm still currently kind of working on the prep portion of this helmet. I'm trying to get it as perfect as I possibly can. And over the course of the series, I really want to be transparent with you guys and just let you guys know that not everything is how it seems on YouTube. I've seen a ton of videos of people doing projects like this, and they go through step by step, kind of like how I am, and all of a sudden in 20 minutes you go from a raw 3D print to a completely finished motorized Iron Man helmet, and that's just really not the way that it works. Things happen, you're gonna have accidents, things are gonna break, the paint's gonna react weird. So if you ever have any issues with your project personally, you can always go ahead and drop them below, or go over to my community tab where you guys can message all of the subscribers that are on my channel and just kind of ask questions, and if you have any issues, we can try to work them out together. So once again, thank you guys so much for watching, and if you did enjoy, leave a like, hype the video, consider subscribing for more 3D printing content, and I'll see you all in part 2.